do 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 do. All right, ladies and gentlemen, with that said, notebooks, take him on out right now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be working on the elimination method again. So, learning target, continue working on linear combinations, the elimination method. Now, both of these are the same topic, okay? So they're two names for the same thing. What's getting traction nowadays is the elimination method. What I learned way back when was linear combinations, and they're one and the same thing. They're just two different names for the same exact option. However, last week we were talking about eliminating things. Like we need to have something that has the same magnitude, but it's opposite in sign. And I like that idea of the elimination process. What are we doing? We're trying to get rid of either the x variable or the y variable. Now, linear combinations, I also enjoy that. We're looking for scale factors. We got to figure out what combination will help us eliminate one of the variables, okay? Do we have to multiply by 2? Do we have to multiply by 3? Should it be -5? Should it just be a negative sign? So last week, again, we just did the elimination method. Usually the equations, you could just add and the either the x's or the y's would cancel out. Worst case scenario, you had to multiply by -1. This week, it's going to be a little different. This week, we want to get to the elimination method, but we're going to have to multiply by some type of scalar factor to do that. Okay, so let's see a few examples. All right, example 1. I'm trying to zoom in here a little bit. All right. So notice that we have a top equation and a bottom equation. This one's a little different. Like this is 9, this is 2. I can't just bring 9 and 2 together and get 0. This is 3, this is 6. Likewise, I cannot just bring 3 and 6 together and end up with 0. I need to have stuff with opposite signs, but the same number. So the same magnitude, but opposite sign. All right. And I'm just going to multiply one of the equations. So last week, the worst thing that we did was multiply by a -1. Well, now we have to think about what number can I multiply either the top equation by or the bottom equation so that either the y's cancel or the x's cancel. Well, 9 and 2. I can't multiply 2 by a number to get 9. Not by a whole number anyway. Alright, now, same thing with 9. I can't multiply by a whole number or an integer to get 2. Alright, what about 3 and 6? Can I multiply 3 by a number to get 6? Yeah. We can multiply 3 by 2 to get 6. So that would give us the same magnitude. But now I need to have the opposite sign. So I shouldn't just multiply by 2. I should multiply by -2. Okay? So we're going to multiply by -2. And that's not just one thing, but it's the entire equation. So everything. Pa-choom! 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 So all three of these things are going to be multiplied by -2. So I like to do a little arrow over here and say, let's rewrite the equation. Well, 3 times -2 is -6x. Negative times negative is positive. 2 times 9 is 18y. is equal to 2 times 9 is 18 again, but it's a negative, so negative 18. Okay, now the bottom equation, we didn't multiply anything by, so it stays the same. Just bring it on over. 6x minus 2y is equal to 2. Alright, so notice that the 6's cancel out, so we can combine these guys now. Negative 6, positive 6, they're opposite sign, same number, cancels out. 18 minus 2 is going to give us 16y. And then we have negative 18 plus 2, which is now negative 16y. Well, I got to get y by itself, so let's divide both sides by 16. Y will equal negative 1. Okay. 16 divided by 16 just leaves us the y. Over here, 16 divided by 16 just leaves us that negative sign, but we can't just put a negative sign, we put negative 1. Okay. We have our y. Now, we need to plug in. Plug in. And for myself, I always try to multiply by the easiest one. So let's see, y is negative 1, which seems to be easier to multiply negative 1 by 2 or 9. And when I say easier, I mean smaller number, just, so less to work with. So our life is a little bit easier. So negative 2 seems like the best one, therefore we'll choose the second equation. So we have 6x minus 2, parenthesis, is equal to 2. We have negative 1 as our value for y. We plug that in, negative 1. Distribute this in, we have 6x. Negative times a negative is positive. 2 times 1 is 2. Is equal to 2. Subtract 2 on both sides. 6x is equal to 0. Oh, that's perfect. Look at that. Divide 6 on both sides. 0 divided by 6, or 0 divided by anything for that matter, is just 0. So we have x is equal to 0, our y is equal to negative 1. So the x and y value will be 0, comma, negative 1. That's our solution. That's the point where our two equations, or our two lines, cross. Alright, let's see another one. Alright, here, it's a little different than the one before. Here, what we're going to do is, let's see, I have 1x, 2x, 2y, 10. Well, I guess I could multiply a number, 2 by a number to get 10. That's true. And I could also multiply 1 by a number to get 2. Well, again, we always think about what's going to be the easiest here. What would be the easiest part for us to find? Well, multiplying by 2 is pretty nice, so let's do that. Multiply the top equation by 2. This guy multiplies straight through, hits everything in its path, everything in its wake. You just 2 times negative 1 is going to give us a little arrow here, and we get negative 2x. Then 2 times negative 2y is going to give us negative 4y. And last one, 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, that's the top equation. Bottom equation, I don't got to multiply. We have 2x plus 10y, negative 28. So by multiplying the top by 2, we're going to be able to eliminate the x's. These guys cancel. Negative 4 plus 10 is going to give us 6y. Positive 4 and negative 28 is negative 24. Divide both sides by 6. And y is equal to, let's see this, negative 4. Alright. We have this. Now let's plug it in. Okay, let's see. Which one looks easier? Y is negative 4. 4 times 2 or 4 times 10? 4 times 2 is easier. So let's rewrite this first equation. X, negative x, minus 2, parenthesis, equals 2. Now what we're going to do is plug in our negative 4. Negative 4. Okay, we want to distribute. Negative times negative is positive. We still have our negative x, and this is going to be 2 times 4 is 8. 2 on the outside. Get x by itself, subtract both sides by 8. We're going to be left with negative x is equal to negative 6. Divide both sides by negative 1. X is equal to 6. So, the solution here is 6, negative 4. 6, negative 4 is our solution. It's the point where the two lines intersect with one another. And there we are. Okay. Again, it's important to note, first what you want to do is look at what variable you can cross off. You know, you got to either multiply the top equation or bottom equation. Here, we multiply the top by 2 so that the x's can cancel out. Once we get the x's gone, we could then solve and isolate for y. Once you find your y, plug it into either the top equation or the bottom equation, whatever's the easiest, and then solve for your x. Once you have your x and y, you're done. Alright, have a good day.